Vandeham Shri Guru Shiyata Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishikam Vidamscha. Jai Srila Govinda Maharaj ki jai. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhariju ki jai.
Pavan Janardan Maharaj ki jai.
Okay. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnana Shalakaya Chakshuram Milidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bhistam Supurakam Gurganara Sisha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipunam Shirupa Bhatanugam Govindabhidam Ujwalam Bharatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Mande Vishwa Guruncha Divyad Bhagavad Premnoi Bijap Radam Devam Divyatanum Suchandavaranam Balarka Chilanshitam Sandrananda Puram Sadeka Varanam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Mandetam Shubharam Madeka Shananam Nyashishwara Sridharam Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Goratavishe Namah Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Goratavishe Namah. Okay, so we're reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the hidden treasure of the sweet absolute, with translation and commentary by Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev-Goswami Maharaj ki jai. So this, we're reading in chapter 6, Dhyana-yoga, the path of meditation. And I read 40 and 41, but I'm going to read them again because Arjuna is asking Krishna, what happens to somebody who's unsuccessful in the path of yoga? In other words, us.
Us, Maharaj, not you.
All right, so anyway.
Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj ki jai.
So I'm reading Krishna's answers here to Arjuna's questions. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Partha Naiveha Namutra Vinashastasya Vidyate Nahi Kalyana Krit Kaschid Durgatim Tatagachati. The Supreme Lord said, O Arjuna, son of Kunti, there is no loss for the unsuccessful yoga practitioner, as he has not denied the happiness of the heavenly plane in this world, nor has he denied the chance of the fortune to see the supersoul in the transcendental realm. This is so, dear one, because a person who performs virtuous actions never suffers an ill fate. So, what's very essential or very important also in this verse is Durgatim Tatagachati. A person who performs virtuous actions, or who does, we could say, virtuous or righteous actions, who does good work, good actions. Person who performs virtuous actions never suffers an ill fate. So that's applying to devotees who are trying to advance on the path of devotional service. They're serving, and then at the end of their life, perhaps they don't achieve full success. Like Srila Govinda Maharaj would say, there was somebody who would say, this person is 5% Vaishnava, or this person's 10%, or this person's 20%. So not everyone is coming up to the standard of 100%. So what happens to a person who is performing Bhakti yoga or devotional service? Of course, this chapter is about meditation, but what we're talking about yoga, a yoga practitioner also applies to one practicing Bhakti yoga, a devotee who doesn't attain, full surrender or full engagement, full realization of the Lord or one's relationship with the Lord. And here Krishna says, first, there is no loss for the unsuccessful yoga practitioner, as he has not denied the happiness of the heavenly plane in this world, nor has he denied the chance of the fortune to see the super soul in the transcendental realm. So, on the level of attainment, his person will not suffer. And this is so, O dear one, because a person who performs virtuous action never suffers an ill fate. If you're performing devotional service, then you won't suffer an ill fate. One who performs virtuous actions never suffers an ill fate. Prapya punya kritam lokan ushitva shashvati sama suchinam shrimatam gehe yoga brashta vijayate. After residing for many years in all those heavenly planets, after residing for many years in all those heavenly planes that are attainable by the performers of great sacrifices, such as the Ashram, the unsuccessful yoga practitioner takes birth in the home of honorable, prosperous persons given to pure and honest practices. So, it says yoga brashta vijayate. Yoga brashta, the person fallen from comparatively short yoga practice. So you could say even one lifetime is comparatively short if you look at things objectively. What's one lifetime? Yoga brashta vijayate. Abhijayate. It takes birth. Yoga brashta vijayate. So the person takes birth in a family of honorable, prosperous persons. So, but then it continues with the discussion, which will be even more applicable here. Text number 42. Atava yoginam eve kule bhavati dhimatam etadi durlabhataram loke janma yad idrisham. Atava yoginam eva kule bhavati dhimatam etadi durlabhataram loke janma yad idrisham. Or he takes birth in the home or family of teachers of yoga who are dedicated to yoga practice. Such a birth is more rarely attained in this world. Or one takes birth in the home of a family of teachers of yoga who are dedicated to yoga practice. Such a birth is more rarely attained in this world. Well, what about it? We could say maybe there's some description here of the children who are born to devotees. Or one takes birth in the home or family of teachers of yoga who are dedicated to yoga practice. Such a birth is more rarely attained in this world. So, any of these things would be applicable to somebody who's tried for devotional service before, or was a yoga practitioner before and was unsuccessful in the practice, and takes birth in a better position. And certainly taking birth in a devotional family is a good position. And I always say that, well, when many of us came from position in this material world and we can say, had either enjoyed or suffered in this material world, I would say both are pretty much equivalent. Either enjoying or suffering in this material world. It's pretty much, even the enjoyment is all pretty much suffering in this material world. But the persons who then come to Krishna consciousness, we see in case, they make a decision to give up their previous life and to take the devotional service. There's a constant decision. There's an actual decision. There's a conscious, that's the word. There's a conscious decision on their part to take the devotional service and leave their previous life behind. And it's not very difficult. The description of Bharat Maharaj is that before he went to the forest, he left his royal happiness and his family and everything. He was taking to a different path, but he renounced everything and went to the forest, and it said he left everything just as one leaves after passing or after defecating. One doesn't stick around, one leaves. He had the same, more or less the same reaction to leaving his kingdom and happiness and his family and everything, left in the same way that one leaves after passing, after defecating. He left very quickly, not attached. So, we see, for many persons had some experience in this world, and they came to devotional service, and they made a conscious decision to come to Srila Gurudev and take shelter of his lotus feet and practice. But sometimes we see maybe that's an element that is not always reached for persons who are they may even have been unsuccessful yogis and born in a good family, but someone also has to make a conscious decision that they want to dedicate themselves to devotional service. Now, in the case of most of the devotees who have lived here, I would say they have made that decision. Many of them, it seems like, they've engaged themselves in devotional service, and sometimes with great enthusiasm. So it seems to have made some decision. But then again, there's also, and I'm sure everyone experiences it, that when someone is young, they have some desire to know this world and even to know what is the so-called, what we would call the Maya of this world. They want to know that. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj said of many of the persons that were, for instance, brought up in what was called the system of Gurukul, where from an early age they were just with devotees and they lived in isolation. He said many of those persons would succumb to Maya because they did not have any inoculation. They didn't have any vaccine against Maya because they were always sheltered from Maya. So then something came along that for them was interesting, but which had been something passé or uninteresting to persons today. Like when I first was going to India, when I first got there, many of the persons were wearing 007 belts and clothing like that of James Bond, whereas that kind of fad had already gone out of fashion in America, but it was popular there. And I saw that they were listening to music and stuff that had been popular 10 years ago in America. They were But to them, that was interesting. They thought that was modern. And so sometimes with devotees who would be in Gurukul, they would think something was very nice, even in terms of some kind of intoxication or something that had been, that most people had maybe experienced before and had no interest in, you know. So it's a question of, they didn't have any, those persons in Gurukul who stayed in the Gurukul in India, they didn't have any inoculation against Maya. And the Sri Ishopanishad, perhaps that what, I cannot explain the verse, but it says that one has to grow up with consciousness of awareness and also illusion. One has to know both aspects. In other words, one has to have something of understanding of what is Maya in order to be able to be successful against Maya. One has to grow up with a little bit of understanding that this is what it means, you know. And I'm not saying that it's that it's bad that some devotees who are born in our families, they never ate meat their whole life, which is a good thing. But also they have some inherent yearning to know this world, or to be in different places, to see different things. It's natural. So anyway, or one takes birth in the home or family of teachers of yoga who are dedicated to yoga practice. Such a birth is more rarely attained in this world. So I would apply that in some ways to sons and daughters of devotees. Tatratam buddhi samyogam labate purva daihikam yatate cha tato bhuya samsido kurunandana. O son of Kuru, within one of these situations, the wisdom he had attained in his previous life is revived, and he again strives for success. O son of Kuru, within one of these situations, the wisdom he had attained in his previous life is revived, and he again strives for success. So that was tatratam buddhi samyogam labate purva daihikam yadate cha tato bhuya samsido kurunandana. Now the next verse. Purva bhyasena tenaiva riyate I avasho pisa jigyasurapi yogasya shabda brahmati vartate. Purvabhyasena tenaiva riyate yavasho pisa jigyasurapi yogasya shabda brahmati vartate. Despite himself, he is carried by the yoga practice of his previous life. In his search, he surpasses the fruitive rituals of the Vedas. Despite himself, he is carried by the yoga practice of his previous life. In his search, he surpasses the fruitive rituals of the Vedas. So, within one of these situations, or in a merchant family, or in a family of devotees, or in some elevation to heavenly pleasures, within one of these situations, the wisdom he had attained in his previous life is revived, and he again strives for success. Despite himself, he is carried by the yoga practice of his previous life. Here it says, despite himself. A pesar de sí mismo. Despite himself, he is carried by the yoga practice of his previous life. In his search, he surpasses the fruitive rituals of the Vedas. Very nice. prapyatnad yatamanastu yogi samshuddha kilbisha aneka janma samsiddhas tato yati param gatim. Striving harder than before, the yogi's consciousness is cleansed of all worldly attachment, and he achieves the fruit of many lifetimes of yoga practice. He attains the supreme destination. Now this is on a future birth. Striving harder than before, the yogi's consciousness is cleansed of all worldly attachments, and he achieves the fruit of many lifetimes of yoga practice. He attains the supreme destination. This is very encouraging. It says, despite oneself, one is carried by the yoga practice of one's previous life. In one's search, one surpasses the fruit of rituals of the Vedas. Striving harder than before, the yogi's consciousness is cleansed of all worldly attachment, and he achieves the fruit of many lifetimes of yoga practice. He attains the supreme destination. And tapas vibhyodiko yogi jnanibhyopi matodika karmibhyas chadiko yogi tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. Tapas vibhyodiko yogi jnanibhyopi matodika karmibhyas chadiko yogi tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. The yogi is superior to persons engaged in severe austerities, such as the Chandrayana vow. So the yogi is superior to one engaged in severe austerities, superior to the person of knowledge who worships Brahman, and superior to the person of action. Know this to be my conclusion. Therefore, O Arjuna, be a yogi. The yogi is superior to persons engaged in severe austerities, superior to the person of knowledge who worships Brahman, and superior to the person of action. Know this to be my conclusion. Therefore, O Arjuna, be a yogi. And I remember that conversation I had with a person in China. There were several questions. One of them said, well, I'm new to this process, but I want to be a yoga teacher. Then how can I attain this? And then I said, well, the first thing is become a yogi. If you want to be a yoga teacher, then first become a yogi. And then that person said honestly, well, nobody here, everyone's doing yoga. It's a big yoga society with many people. She said, nobody here is a yogi. And I said, well, but the persons with me, and some of our 3 or 4 of our devotees were with me. I said, persons with me, they're all yogis. They're all yogis. They're all practitioners. So you become a yogi. I told that person. Now she was thinking within the context of her yoga society, but I explained, practicing devotional service, one becomes a real yogi. That is the conclusion. So actually one practicing devotional service has surpassed all other forms of yoga, because ultimately the purpose of yoga is to establish a connection with the Lord. But if one understands one's connection with the Lord, then one must engage in devotional service to the Lord. If I can understand by realization that I am the eternal servant of Lord Krishna, if I understand that's my position. Now, what is the meaning of being a servant if I'm not engaged in service? Every servant has to be engaged in service. So, then, Yoginam api sarvesham mad gatenantar atmana shadavam bhajate yo mam samme yuktatamo mata yoginam api sarvesham mad gatenantar atmana shradhavan bhajate yo mam samme yuktatamo mata. And here Krishna gives the conclusion to this chapter on meditation. He says, the best of all yogis is the yogi who has full faith in the authoritative pure devotional scriptures and who adores me with all his heart, hearing and singing my divine glories, rendering all services unto me. This is my opinion. And Krishna is saying, the best of all yogis. He's saying, Yoginam api sarvesham. Of all the types of yogis on the path of karma, gyan, tapasya, ashtanga yoga, bhakti, etc., one who, shradhavan, with firm, this is always so important, shraddha, with firm faith in the holy scriptures, which corroborates the excellence of devotion of me, shradhavan, Yoginam api sarvesham mad gantanantar atmana shradhavan bhajate yomam. One who with great faith renders service to me. Need that element of faith. Nothing can be achieved without faith. Shradhavam bhajate yomam, worships me with great faith. Samme yuktanamo mada. Is the best of all yogis. Samme yuktanamo mata. The best of all yogis is the devotee who has full faith in the authoritative pure devotional scriptures and who adores me with all his heart, hearing and singing my divine glories, rendering all services unto me. This is my opinion. So this is the concluding verse in this chapter of Dhyana-yoga. And Krishna is saying very clearly that all different kinds of yogis, the one who has great faith in the Lord, who worships the Lord, who adores the Lord, then Krishna says that person is the best of all yogis. So this verse is very much, we see this verse as confirmation of the position of the personalist view of devotional service, of serving the Lord. This verse states all that. Yoginam api sarvesham madgantanantaratmana shradhavan bhajate yomam same yuktanamo madaha. Of all yogis, the best of all yogis is one who worships the Lord with great faith. Let's see. Madgatanantaratmana. Madgatana. Fully dedicated to me. Madgantanantar atmana. Antatmana. And with his heart. Madgantanantaratmana. With full faith and with all his heart. Worships me, renders service to me. This is the best of all yogis, Krishna says. So Shraddhavan, certainly we're always hearing, having full faith, this is a primary qualification or necessity. The best of all yogis is the devotee who has full faith in the authoritative pure devotional scriptures and who adores me with all his heart, hearing and singing my divine glories, rendering all services unto me. This is my opinion. And I remember when I first came in contact with the devotees, and I was new, didn't know anything, my greatest attraction actually was hearing what they were reading. That had a great appeal to me. They were reading Bhagavad Gita. They were reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita. It was the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, but it was from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam. All those books, I had much attraction for them. And I was new, I didn't understand what everything meant. The best of all yogis is the devotee who has full faith in the authoritative, pure devotional scriptures and who adores me with all his heart. I'm not saying I was the best of all yogis, I didn't know anything, but I was very attracted to the scriptures that the devotees were reading. Hearing and singing my divine glories, rendering all services unto me, this is my opinion. And this is why also I like reading from the scriptures. I have some attraction to hear from the scriptures, and I actually find that when I'm speaking in classes and giving and reading the scriptures, even if there's no one present, but it's going out and they're being broadcast, I have some feeling that I'm reading to someone and reading, of course, to the deities. But I like reading out loud to someone more than sitting in my room and just reading there. And then my concentration will not be so complete as when I'm speaking. I find speaking the scriptures is very, very palatable, very nice. So then, iti Shri Mahabharate Shara Sahasriyam Samhitayam Vayasakyam Bhishma Parvani Srimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Dhyana-yoga Nama Shasto Jaya. We read, there's two translations that are very nice. This one, Purva Bhyasena Tenaiva Riyate I Avashopi Saha Jigyasurapi Yogasya Shabda Brahmati Tivartate. And it says, one who's born one who doesn't attain success and is born, for instance, in a good family or a devotional family, despite himself, he is carried by the yoga practice. It says here, despite himself. He is carried by the yoga practice of his previous life. In his search, he surpasses the fruit of rituals of the Vedas. In the next verse, he says, Prayatna yatamanastu yogis samshuddha kilbisha aneka janma samsiddhas tato yati param gatim. Striving harder than before, the yogi's consciousness is cleansed of all material attachment, and he achieves the fruit of many lifetimes of yoga practice. He attains the supreme destination. So striving harder than before, also very nice. Okay, so go back to the conclusion here. Iti Shri Mahabharate Shata Sahasriyam Samhitayam Vayasakyam Bhishma Parvani Srimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Dhyana-yoga Nama Shasto Jaya. Dhyana-yoga Nama Shasto Jaya. End of chapter 6, the path of meditation from the conversation of Sri Krishna and Arjuna in Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishad, the yoga scripture of transcendental knowledge in Bhishma Parva of Sri Mahabharata, the holy scripture revealed by Srila Vyasadeva in 100,000 verses. Nice, very good. 100,000 verses of the Mahabharata. I forget the exact quantities. I thought Srimad Bhagavatam like maybe 40,000 verses or 30 or 40. Chaitanya Charitamrita like, I don't remember, but I thought it was like 11, 12,000 verses. And Mahabharata. Now, about the Mahabharata, Govinda Maharaj said, said the Guru Maharaj liked hearing and hearing the Mahabharata. And he said that Mahabharata is accepted as a general religious scripture. It's not accepted like Srimad Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's not in itself a pure devotional literature. But Guru Maharaj liked hearing that very much. And what I mean is, for instance, one time one person I knew was translating the Mahabharata, and he said, because there's no Vaishnava commentaries on the Mahabharata. Now I don't know if there are or not, but he said he was writing a commentary on the Mahabharata because he said there was no Vaishnava commentaries on the Mahabharata, and I thought, well, wouldn't that make one think? Why? But because we could say in general, it is a general religious scripture. But Guru Maharaj liked to hear it, so Govinda Maharaj said, in this context, he referred to the point that it was said about Srila Sridhar Maharaj that even if he read the newspaper, it would still be divine. So, but Guru Maharaj liked to hear the Mahabharata. So now, we'll sing Hari Haraya. Hari Hara, did we? Okay. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama. Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama. Gopal Govinda Ram Shimarusudan. Giridhari Gopinatha Maranama. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra. Garanara Shiva Sadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Rupa Sanatam Bhatta Raguna. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raguna. Jai Gosai Kori Charana Banyan. Jai Te Vignana Shami Sapura. Jai Gosai Jar Muri Tarana. Kansabar Pradarenu Mora Panchagra. Tane Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibal. Janame More Abhila. Jai Gosai Jabe Braje Kolaba. Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prasad. Anande Golo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majayama. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Dharma Koriya. Hari Naam Sankirtana Kohe Narodam Dam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhara Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Tara Sadashi Shrimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Tara Sadashi Shrimad Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Sananta Saraswati Goswami Thakur ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnavas Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai. Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Ragana Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasharagana Shad Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Premsi Gosha Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gauravakta Vrinda ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vishvabaranya Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Brinda ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Brinda ki jai. Shri Navadip Dham ki jai. Shri Ram Mayapur ki jai. Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Saparshada Shri Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Koladvip ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai. Soquel Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram ki jai. Ganga Devi ki jai. Tulasi Maharani ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Govardhan Sham Guna Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Jo ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Shri Kadasi Upavas ki jai. All the assembled devotees ki jai. Shri Ganga Puja ki jai. Shri Baladev Vidyabhushan Tirubab Mahotsav ki jai. Shri Ganga Mata Avirbhav ki jai. Avirbhav Mahotsav ki jai. All the assembled devotees ki jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj ki jai.
What?